Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTM Sports. We're just waiting for our special guest to join us, but it's great news to hear that Dennis Hobson Promotions have signed a deal starting on October 13th. We'll be seeing Liam Cameron making his challenge against Sam Sheedy for the Commonwealth middleweight title. Great news. This should be the call now coming through from Dennis Hobson. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Andrew.
Good evening, Dennis. How are we doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. For those people who don't know who Dennis Hobson is, can you give people just a quick overview as to who you are, Dennis?
Yeah, I was a above-average semi-professional footballer who met a fellow called Russell Hartley, and he got me interested in boxing many years ago. I'm a boxing promoter. I used to train life, obviously. Clinton Woods went on to manage Clinton, and ended up thankfully and gratefully winning a world title. And I've managed to manoeuvre a few lads into world title status. Obviously, the biggest name I promoted and broke America with was Ricky Hatton. David Hayes amongst the fellas I've promoted. I promoted the David Hay, Carl Thompson fight at Wembley Arena. So we've had some big nights in boxing, England.
Fantastic. So that's for some people who may not know who Dennis Hobson is. I'll be shocked if people don't know who you are. But still, I like to let people have the idea of get their background, little background about who you are. Okay, let's get straight into things. The announcement that you have signed a TV deal. Tell us about it.
Well, we're going to roll it out over the next couple of weeks, Ingram. So there's some more details to reveal at a later date, but it's something we've been working on. I've got 2 or 3 partners that's going to be involved in this deal and this project, as I like to call it. It's something that we're going to grow, and it's got to grow, and we're going to organically it'll grow. But what it does, it gives kids an option. Some live free-to-air coverage. It's going to go out to every home in and around the UK. So kids are going to get exposure, going to get opportunities to advertise with us, and we're starting off on October the 13th with a Commonwealth title fight, which is a smashing matchup. 2 local kids fighting for the middleweight Commonwealth title, and hopefully the next one that we do, we just put it all together now, will be in Jersey, where there'll be 2 Channel Islands kids fighting for titles, topping the bill over here in the Channel Islands in Jersey, where I live now. So, and then we're going to go up and down the spine of the country, and the plan is to do a minimum of 12 shows, 1 show a month during the next 12 months, and co-promote with.
He's gone. That's nice. Was you getting in the middle of that? That was sounding pretty tasty. And he's disappeared on us. What if Dennis's credit has run out? I'm sure you'll be back in a moment. So, yeah. So what Dennis is saying that they've got a 12-fight deal at the moment, and they're going to try and make it as organic and sustainable as possible. And I think he'll be back soon unless he's popped off. Let's see if we can get Dennis back on the line, because that was getting interesting. It's getting very tasty, actually. Let's see if we can get Dennis back on. He's back. Dennis?
Sorry, I can assure you I've paid my bills.
We were wondering.
My house has got big walls, I think, and I think I might have not been set in the best position to get a reception anyway. So yeah, it's an exciting deal. I mean, it's not something that's it's not we haven't been handed a golden pot, like Sky TV and you've got Box Nation now. But what certain promoters tend to do is create a monopoly, and I'm really against that. It's not me that wants all the pie, and I think boxing shoots itself in the foot, because certain promoters, obviously you've got to have an ego to be involved in boxing anyway, but certain people's ego is off the scale, and they don't want to work with other promoters don't want to give them a piece of the cake. And boxing shoots itself in the foot, like I said, because it's not going to grow. It can only reach a certain level. And like football takes all the back pages of the national papers. If we work together as promoters, which is very unlikely with certain people, but the people I'm working with, we've come together. There's going to be at least 3 or 4 people I've come together with and partner up with. We're going to put regular shows up and down the spine of the country, maybe from Scotland, the North East, Sheffield, Manchester, Leeds, and then London and the South. So, you know, we're going up and down the spine of the country, and it's going to give kids up and down the country an opportunity to get to be a household name, even before they become a world champion, and it can build a brand. And you've seen what a brand can do a couple of weekends ago with the McGregor-Mayweather fight. You build a brand, and we knew it weren't going to be a spectacle for a purist, but there were 2 brands coming together, and look what they generated financially.
Fantastic. First question off the bat: would it ever be possible? We see face-offs between fighters. Do you think we'll ever get face-offs between promoters? People talk about a face-off between Warren and Hearn. Would that ever happen? Promoters around the table discussing boxing, the things that matter. Do you think that could ever happen? Because I'm sure boxing fans would love to hear the different views about boxing matches. And
yeah, well, you know, when we have a general election, all the heads of Labour, Tory, Liberal, they have to have a face-off. So why from such as your Warrens and your Eddie Hearns do that? I mean, I'd be willing to do it. Not a problem. I mean, I've nothing to hide. You know, you don't get involved in any business and not make mistakes. I've made certain mistakes along the way, but I've made probably fewer than a lot of people. And when I'm representing fighters, I've managed to manoeuvre kids who aren't Olympians, who have sometimes been discarded and maybe, where want of a better term, put on the scrap heap, and I've took them off the scrap heap sometimes and got overachieved. Maybe how some people might look at it, with certain fighters on world title status and world title opportunities. So, you know, I mean, why shouldn't we all sit around the table and discuss the pros and the cons of the game? You know, like I said, boxing people sometimes, certain promoters are too guarded, and that's why it doesn't grow, because people are selfish and want to create monopolies, and that's why certain other promoters don't really look in. But our sport could be so much bigger, because if you think about it, and I beat the drum about this all the time, it's the only sport in Great Britain that we win constantly on the world stage. I look forward to watching England. I'm a big football fan, Sheffield Wednesday fan. And we get disappointed on the world scene because we have the expectations, oh, we're England, we're going to win this and we're going to compete at the highest level. We're number 6 seed in the world. We've got a chance this year. And we never fail to disappoint. Never fail to disappoint. With boxing, on a regular basis, we have world champions at different weights. This country is the mecca of boxing at the moment. So, you know, and it's a disgrace. I mean, we might go into it later, but, you know, we've got our biggest brand in media, television, BBC, and it doesn't air professional boxing. And it's something that we win at on a regular basis.
Let's visit that for a second, because people say the reason why there's not boxing on the BBC was back to the Audley Harrison days. Is that the reason why?
Well, maybe the head of sport, the head of BBC, isn't a boxing fan. And how bad is that? Because when Greg Dye was in the hot seats, he's a boxing fan, Greg. So he fancied wanting to bring boxing back. Now, when you want to hide behind figures and they say, oh, he doesn't do the numbers for us, viewers-wise, then they can make them work or not work to their liking. Well, you know, we've seen what sort of figures boxing can achieve if it's promoted correctly and we get the right ingredients. Audley Harrison was allowed to make a hash of promoting. He was a talented kid who won a gold medal, but they allowed him to promote his own fights and promote his own undercard, and give him a big budget to do so. They were always going to go pear-shaped, And for people like me who just got involved at the BBC because I'd struck a deal with David Hay, we were the last people. I was one of the smaller promoters who got the lesser days out of the BBC. And my show was the last show professionally on the BBC. And it was the show that featured David Hay as the chief support. I think he fought Glenn Kelly as a cruiserweight. But the top of the bill was Clinton Woods versus Rico Hoy for the IBF Heavyweight Championship of the World, which he won in dramatic style on a fantastic evening with fantastic atmosphere. But we knew going into that night, that event, they were going to be the last show on the BBC. Wow. And it's been that ever since, and that was like 14 years ago.
So when you look at Channel 5 and more recently ITV getting back into boxing, why doesn't the BBC look at that and say, ITV have got pay-per-view, Channel 5 are showing their boxing, why don't we ever go? Why are the BBC so narrow-minded about boxing?
Because what it is, they've got somebody like yourself in a position of authority, if you like, then I know, and I'm pretty sure, boxing will be back on the BBC. We might have kind of find somebody who's a polo enthusiast or a fox hunter or somebody who thinks that boxing is a brutal, horrible sport, and they're not going to allow it to be on the BBC. And I think it's as blatant as that. Now they can say, yeah, but we do have boxing on the BBC. We have the Olympics and we have the amateurs. Well, what are the politics there then? Why? Every kid, when I was young, I used to watch Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Roberto Duran. What does every amateur, and I had 2 or 3 amateur fights, and what does a young kid aspire to? He aspires to be on that stage, that level where they're at, Tommy Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard. It's a dream. So what do you do as an amateur? The progression is to turn professional. So why are the BBC just covering amateurs? Why don't they stay with some of these kids and create the stories all the way through for a Audley Harrison, a David A, or a Anthony Joshua, and give them a home? And yeah, when they get to professional level, then the BBC, maybe they can't compete with the pay-per-view sort of figures and the money that's generated, but there's kids out there who can get to British, European, Commonwealth level, and some of the lesser world titles. Why shouldn't we be airing them on the BBC? You know, we've got that much talent in this country, boxing-wise. Boxing should be on the BBC. It's a travesty. It's a disgrace. There's some people there who are answerable.
Let me ask you this: as a bill payer, somebody who pays their TV license, doesn't the public have an opinion on the right to say, look, we want boxing on the BBC. We're paying tax. We're paying our TV license because of you guys. And then you're going to stand in the way and tell us, no, we're not going to put boxing on. That can't be right.
Well, if we could, you know, we have enough demonstrations outside Parliament about all sorts of other stuff. You know, if there were a big enough demonstration, I think we could create a bit of a stir. But for whatever reason, we just get on with things. And I think if everybody signed a petition, we would have some strength and maybe have a say, and we might change, we might turn the tide a bit. But at the moment, the answer is no. I've been, like people approach the BBC every so often, and I suppose it's just about the time. If we get the right people, the right position, at the right time, boxing will end up going back on the BBC, and rightly so. And I think there should be at least a couple of promoters on the BBC. And it's like ITV; they're just letting certain people or a certain person dictate what goes on ITV. I think it's a joke, because you've got to have some competition, and you need somebody watching the standard and the quality standards on your channel. And competition is good. I mean, in any football team or any walk of life, you need competition to keep people on the toes and to keep people producing. when I put a show on, I've done it for 25, 26 years. If I put an event on, I think, oh, great night, and people get plenty of pats on the back, what a great night of boxing. Straight away, you know, the day after, I'm thinking, right, how can I better that? Yeah. How can I better that? I don't think, oh, that's the best one I'm going to do. I think, how am I going to better that? And that's how it should be. You've got to keep looking to better yourself and looking to be creative and looking to make bigger and better shows and manoeuvring kids in the position and getting excited about announcing what you've managed to achieve for the kid who you're looking after. And I've done that numerous times when I haven't had the most long-term deals in TV, but, you know, manoeuvring people like Clinton Woods. I mean, it's a story on itself, but it was where I cut my teeth, and at the highest level, flying over to Miami to just crash a press conference with Roy Jones, who was the Floyd Mayweather of his time, and I just threw Clinton on the stage and said, look, we want to fight you, and that's how I made that fight. But there are all little bits of drama which create, and, you know, like boxing, it's sport, but what brings it out in its shell, and Muhammad Ali there'll never be another one, Muhammad Ali, because he transformed the sport, but you need a bit of theatre, and we do get a bit of theatre every so often, and look what can happen. Yes. A controversy like you got Froch versus Groves, and look what it created and generated. 80,000 people at Wembley. That's what boxing can generate.
Let me take you back to that comment you made about deals. Do you think that if you give a promoter a 5-year deal, then there's room to be complacent? But if you gave a promoter a 2-year deal, that would keep them on their toes more?
I think so, yeah. I think so. I think, you know, some promoters will go, oh yeah, but I need a 3-5-year deal because I've got to build. Well, I think a couple of year deal, and if they're not performing, it's like having a work contract, job contract. You know, you've got to perform, otherwise you're going to be put out. You're going to be given notice, and to find another job. And boxing promoting shouldn't be any different. Yeah, you've got to be. You need a certain amount of time to develop fighters and to develop a stable and to manoeuvre kids, because it's not the easiest game in the world to, you know, I mean, I haven't got a magic wand, but I've managed to get kids to probably overachieve in people's eyes, but not in my eyes. I think, well, I'm going to get the best out of these kids that I can and get them to whether it's a British level, English level, or hopefully onto the world scene. That's what I've done numerous times, and it's like a drug. I mean, my message, because of the politics in boxing, and I've had a few, as you probably know, and Russell will tell you, is that I've been kicked in the netherlands and once or twice, but the buzz and the drug for me is the thrill of creating something and manoeuvring somebody, and the thrill of winning something at the highest level. And I've done that, you know, thankfully a few times, and it's a buzz, and I like that feeling, and I want it again.
Now, you may not want to talk about it, but we're here, so we'll try and delve into it. I spoke to Chris Smedley, the trainer of Liam Cameron, just about half an hour ago, and he mentioned about the work that you've done, the fantastic work you've done with one Jamie McDonnell, and he said that after doing the work with Jamie McDonnell, he then upped sticks and left to a rival promoter or another promoter. Talk to us about, if you can or if you want to, about those events. You built Jamie McDonnell up and then he disappeared.
I mean, when he came to me, he were on 2 losses, come out offered 2 losses and a draw,
right?
Domestically. So he were 8-2-1, and he came with me. His dad came with a fellow who we mutually knew called Peter Bell. Lovely fellow from the Doncaster area. And he's got some talent, this kid. I've told him all about you, what you did with Clinton Woods. Would you do a bit with him? I said, yeah, I'll do my best, especially with you bringing him to me, Peter. And I come to my gym, I looked at him, and I got a kid called Richard Hobson working for me then, and who I were trying to develop into a trainer, which was, you know, we won't go into that too much, but he didn't spend any time with him, and I've always kept myself fit, going in my gym, doing a bit of sparring and stuff like that, and sometimes taking kids on the pads like I did with Clinton all the way through his career at certain times, just to get him mentally doing a bit of mentoring with him, if nothing else.
Right.
And I started spending a bit of time with Jamie because I looked at him. I thought, technically, I think he's great. And I thought, is it only me what believes in this kid? Anyway, I sent him to Beijing because I was friends with Terry Edwards to spar with all the kids who were going to be in the Olympics. I'd had the Olympians training at my gym. I sent him to Miami with Steffi Bull to learn his trade and for Steffi to hopefully add a little bit more to himself as a trainer. And I took him to fought in Jersey, international fights. They were all part of building him as a fighter and rounding him off as the complete fighter. So when he get in any position, in any situation, fight, at whatever level, it wouldn't be phased. And I did that with Clinton when I sent him to Philadelphia, different parts of Europe, and I've done it with a few fighters. But it's all about timing. And I've just manoeuvred him, and then we got an opportunity, and I did a deal with then Frank Maloney to fight Ian Napper. I was in the corner with him, with Chris, and I'm not blowing my own trumpet, but if I hadn't been in the corner with him then, and kept giving him the odd word in his ear, he'd have got beat, because Napper was a slick operator.
I know Napper very well.
He'd have got beat that night, you know? And he went on and he won it on a split decision, and I thought rightfully so. And that was the start of his moving forward. I thought, yeah, I've got one here again. We're going to move again. So there was already a European title lined up with Jerome Arnold for Ian Napper. The deal was done, and Maloney says, I don't think he wants to be fighting for the European. I think we should establish him at British level. What do you think? And he went, no, I fancy that fight. And we went over to Cairns. He boxed 2 orders, and he did a number on him. I think he stopped Jerome Arnold in the 10th round, and he was a 6-1 underdog for that. And so he was a European champion. And so, you know, I'd already got a deal lined up with Golden Boy. I managed to avoid Leo Santa Cruz through working with Golden Boy, finding out what timing and how they were going to maneuver Leo Santa Cruz, because I thought Leo Santa Cruz would have been a tough one for him to go after in his first world title. And then I knew the title was going to become vacant, and it was going to be against a tough Mexican puncher, Julio Cesar. And that promoter, actually, and I've got in touch with Gary Shaw, Golden Boy, bless him, Dan, what do you call him? The promoter from Julio.
Dan Goosen?
Dan Goosen, bless him. Yeah, bless him, yeah. And so the what did he call the Mexican promoter? I can't think of his name. Anyway, he was a tough negotiator. And Jamie and his dad and everybody, we don't want to have to go to Mexico City, Dennis. Do whatever you can. Whatever it takes. And I bid decent money to bring the kid over here. I'd done a deal with Jamie. I wanted to make history because he's the first kid to fight from Doncaster for a world title in Doncaster. And I did a deal at Keepmore at the football ground. Jamie and his brother Gavin telling me they'll sell it out, they'll sell 10,000 tickets. I had to cover the pitch. Frank Maloney was supposed to be getting us this Nuts TV, and they were going to pay this, and they were going to do that. It all fell apart, so I had to stand on out of my own pocket, and I put it on prime time pay-per-view. They charged me about 30 grand just to have the platform, and then I've got to pay, I don't know, 30 or 40 grand to have the pitch covered, to the production, which was about 30 grand. I did a lump of money, and then obviously I've got to pay the purses. Jamie, after I secured the fight, comes to me one day and said, Dennis, I want more money to fight for the world title. I've already done the deal. So he'd already, by that time, in hindsight, had somebody in his ear. Somebody were waiting while I did all the hard work, got him the world title, did my brains in financially, made history to keep more by picking a kid from nowhere to fight for a world title and make history in his own town. He told me about it. They sold about 1,000 tickets in a 10,000 seater stadium. So they didn't pull the gut out, did they? And I didn't want to cancel any show, which I'm very loath to now anyway. And I remember his dad coming off. I mean, he fought fantastic. And as a fighter, I've got nothing but respect for Jamie. He's gone abroad and fought. But as regards betrayal and morality, it's absolute zilch what they did there. I mean, I got that kid there, and all of a sudden, the people around him, and he's listening. I mean, he's not the brightest kid in the world, but you don't have to be bright to be loyal. And he's obviously listened to other people, and the dollar signs have won the best of him. And the irony is, Ingram, is that if he'd have stuck with me, he'd have been top of the bill on a lot of TV shows. Not necessarily having to go and find the States for big money. I've got a deal lined up with co-promoting on 1 or 2 shows with Golden Boy. I'd have got my money back because that's what his dad said after the fight. Dennis, you've got a chance to get your money back now and earn a few quid. So even his dad said that on the night that Jim won in Doncaster. But I was betrayed. Eddie Earns contrived with 1 or 2 to take him, and he's been parked up, like Russell says, for about a year, and he's almost a forgotten man. If it had been with me, his brand would have grown. He'd have been at the top of the bill, and I dare say he would have earned a lot more money than he already has. And he has earned a few quid, but I think he'd have earned more staying with me. I'd have got my money back, rightfully so, and he'd have done the right thing. And I went through a bit of a hearing with him at the board, unsatisfactory to a degree. To a big degree on my behalf, because I'm still down a lot of money. But the achievement, what I achieved with somebody who was discarded by others, who wasn't wanted by other promoters, is like he's written in the history books now. I mean, I took him. He was 13-0 with me, British, Commonwealth, European, and world. It speaks for itself what I did for him. And most people, 99.9% of people in boxing, were disgusted what he did. But obviously, Jamie's a bit thick-skinned, and he's gone with the rest of his career. But as a boxer, I've got nothing but respect for him. I rate the kid. I think he's got bottle and he's got ability. But at the moment, I think he's stagnating.
Okay. I like what you kind of said in between that, because it linked me to something else in terms of having hearings at boards. There is a giant in the heavyweight division from the UK. I'm sure you know who he is, Tyson Fury. And he has a deal, some sort of hearing with Ukad. In your opinion, often people say that Tyson Fury upset the wrong people in boxing. There are dark forces at work. What's your opinion? You know boxing and the inner workings of boxing and the inner circles of boxing better than most. What's your opinion on and your take on the whole Tyson Fury Ukad hearing?
Well, you can complicate matters as much as you want, or you can simplify them. Now, I'd simply say, without Tyson Fury, he wouldn't be an Anthony Joshua where he is now. He's an absolute megastar who's financially secure for the rest of his life, and he wants to be sending Tyson a big fat check, because it was Tyson Fury who went and took all the control away from Germany in Klitschko's backyard and opened the heavyweight division up. Without him, that would never have happened. Now, he doesn't cover himself in glory, with some of his outbursts, Tyson, but I know him personally, and I like Tyson. I like his uncle, I like his family. I've got a smashing relationship with him. But that by the by, even if I didn't know him, I've got the utmost respect for what he's done and what he's done for heavyweight boxing. And through heavyweight boxing, he's put Britain on the map again. Tyson, for whatever reason, with his drug allegation and whatever, nothing's being proved. It's all a bit sketchy. And I've heard little bits, and it's just stories of like a vendetta against Tyson just to stop him. Well, hold on a minute. He's opened it up, and I think we need to have some inquiry. I think there's some going about politics. Let's get some MPs on the job because there's something fundamentally wrong, and boxers struggle mentally. It's a massive thing. The mental state of any fighter is probably the biggest thing that you've got to overcome. Yeah, you physically get yourself in shape, but mentally, if you're not right, none of the physical thing means anything. So throughout how he's been treated, obviously he's a temperamental sort of character. He's gone over the top, and he admits he's got this bipolar situation, and he's being sent over the top. It's not going to do him any good how he's being treated. And I'm not, like I say, I know he's not Snow White, but he's a true athlete who's achieved for this country a phenomenal success. Let's get around him and help him. If he has done some misdemeanor, which I think that's all debatable as well, let's debate, let's get to the bottom of it. And if he has done anything wrong, then he's got to face his punishment, which I don't think he has, because some of the stories I've heard, it doesn't point to me that he's out and out guilty. It's as though he's been blocked out of the situation. Anthony Joshua's the golden child all of a sudden. Well, there's only one person I'd have backed if they'd have met for a world title when Tyson just beat Klitschko. And, are they hoping that he gets out of the ring so long that, he can't reach the sort of levels that he were at when he won the world title, and it puts him to bed and says, and then ends that myth that, he's the man who'll beat the man. Well, let me just tell you, in my opinion, nobody will be a world champion until they beat the man who'll beat the man, and that's Tyson Fury.
Now, let's play fantasy for a second. Dennis Hobson, you are the promoter or the manager of Tyson Fury. What do you do in this situation? What would you be doing with Tyson now?
I think what you're going to do it's like when I had Ricky.
Yeah.
Now we're at battle. I mean, I'm a bit more mature now anyway. And I had a lot of fun with Ricky. We were friends as well as promoters. We were like a bit unique, our relationship. It was just certain people got in between. And it's a shame that Ricky didn't open the situation up and get us all sat around the table and say, look, what's these rumours, what's going around and what's going on. I'd front anything. I can look anybody in the eyes and say, look, if there's some rumours about me or about you, let's around in the open and let's communicate. And if there's certain things that we're not happy with, let's see how we can find a solution. Now, I'd like to help Tyson. I mean, I've got the utmost respect, like I say, for his family, and I'm quite close with. I'm very close with Peter, his uncle. I think he's done a fantastic job, and he's doing a fantastic job with you. And touch wood, it comes through, and he gets another world champion. I'd love to sit there down with him because I know where he's coming from, I know where he feels, and I'd love to help him and get involved with the politics side, because rightfully he should be still at the top of the tree. And let's get to the bottom of these allegations, and let's get him back in contention. Let's get him back in a good place mentally, because people like Tyson Fury, a talent like him, it needs nurturing because they don't come along very often. So they need nurturing and they need looking after, and that's what we're not doing. We categorising him as a wrong one, and he's not. He's temperamental. But Paul Gascoigne were temperamental. Georgie Best were temperamental. There's a borderline, isn't there, between genius and madness and stuff like that. Well, he's right on that line.
Yes.
Well, let's make sure he's just on the right side of the line. You know what I'm saying?
All right, that sounds pretty good. Let's talk about, while you're talking about Hughie Fury, let's talk about the pay-per-view and YouTube. Dennis?
Yeah, got you again. Pay-per-view on what, Ingrid?
Pay-per-view, YouTube, pay-per-view with Hughie and Parker.
I don't know how it's working, Ingram, so can't really comment too much on that. I'm pleased that they've managed to secure a platform and a TV outlet, which is fantastic. And I know Mick Ennis is working hard with Peter, and I've tried to help as much as I can, and I'm always there for him. I'm on the end of the phone if I can help in any way, shape, or form. And I hope it works out for him, because, like I said earlier, these monopolies are no good to anybody. And if there's different options, different outlets there for boxers, managers, then it's all the better for the sport and to the kids who are involved, and kids who just turned professional or are established professionally and have been kept on the shelf and they ain't got nowhere else to go. Well, hopefully there is another home, and YouTube may be providing that. But I think it's fantastic what they're doing, and I just hope it works out. And that's all I can say. I don't know enough about the deal.
Okay.
I just hope it works out for everybody concerned.
It's $9.99. You just go onto YouTube, pay your $9.99, and you get to see the fight live.
Well, that's simple enough. It's a heavyweight title.
Absolutely.
Two undefeated kids, one from New Zealand, one from Great Britain. The kids from Manchester, fighting Manchester Arena. Let's get behind him. He's an absolute gentleman and conducts himself in a fantastic manner. He's a totally different personality to Tyson. But some people just turn the telly on to watch Tyson, do something crazy or get locked up or whatever. With you're not going to get that. But what you're getting is an athlete who's taking a risk, because it's early days for him to go for a heavyweight title. But he's putting it all on the line. Hopefully having home advantage gives him a slight edge. But it's a big ask. On paper, it's a 50-50. And hopefully, for Peter's sake, because I know what they've all gone through with Tyson and the family, I hope it comes through, because there's been a lot of hard work. There's been a lot of obstacles put in the way. And I hope they come through it. And then Tyson, on the back of that, gets the buzz back and the impetus to get back in the ring and rebuild his career.
Okay, let's kind of close all this off now with Dennis, focusing primarily now on Dennis Hobson Promotions. Let's talk about that night, Friday the 13th, live on Free Sports. Let's talk about Sam Sheedy, Liam Cameron, main event. Talk to me about it.
Well, if you think about it, it's something that's free. I mean, how many pensioners, how many low earners in this country? There's a lot of people. There's millions, and they can't afford. I mean, I pay 120 quid, I think, for the Sky package. I pay for 120 quid in Jersey. I pay 120 quid back in Sheffield. It's like, I know I'm a bit extravagant, but it's ludicrous, isn't it? 120 quid. Now, I'm fortunate that I can afford it, but it's still like I come off like a council estate Stradbroke in Sheffield, and I don't forget how every pound's like not a prisoner, but like I don't forget the value of money, and it's a lot of money. Now there's a lot of pensioners and that out there who want to watch sport, but everything is subscription. You've got to pay for this, you've got to pay for that, and if you want to watch that big fight, you've got to go and pay again. Now there's a lot of old fellas out there who's living off a pension, and every penny spoke for every week. Well, this free sport channel, sports channel, numerous sports, you're not going to get the Premier League, because obviously that's just monopolised, and there's millions and billions involved in that, so it's got to be paid for. But you're going to be able to watch some football. But the great thing is you're going to be able to watch live boxing, and I'm going to be involved in every boxing event that's going to be on that platform, but it's all free, and it's going to get access. There's 23 million people in and around our country who's going to get access. That's every home, and anybody, whether you've got 2 bob or £20 million in the bank, you're going to be able to watch live boxing. And thankfully, we're starting off with a Commonwealth middleweight title between 2 competitive kids, a local derby, it's a smashing fight to start off on a free-to-air channel.
Great. The undercard, is that going to be shown live as well?
Well, it's a 2-hour show, Ingram. So yeah, we're going to be fitting some of the undercard on there, and there'll be maybe a couple of live fights on the undercard, and one or two what we've put in the can that's been recorded earlier, and we'll pick the best of that. And you know, there'll be a lot of kids who'll get aired who, you know, they might not have had that many fights, but all of a sudden, if we can get them on a regular basis, they can become household names, and it gives them that extra little bit of a buzz, thinking, well, I'm on TV, and to go and tell the friends. The show will be repeated twice, so people get a chance to see it again, and to get a chance to get the odd sponsor and get a little bit more out of the sponsor, so it can boost the purses up. So it gives a lot of these young kids a bit of fame, whether they win a central area, whether they win an English title, whether they win a British. They're going to have a little bit of fame because it's hard work with professional boxers. There's a lot of sacrifice, and unless you get to a high level, the purses aren't fantastic. And I'm not just saying that's our purses, I'm saying up and down the country. They don't earn a fortune. They don't earn retirement money unless you get to be like a Froch or Joshua now, such as a Bellew who's been very fortunate. You know, he's been in some big fights, in some massive fights. They're the sort of fighters, but that's a very small percentage. So a lot of these kids never get to that level. But, you know, they can still make some great memories being on the TV platform, and that's what we're going to provide.
So one of the things you mentioned is that you are against the whole monopoly, which means that you are going to be quite open to working with promoters up and down the country. What would that look like, Dennis? How would that benefit by you working with promoters up and down the country on free-to-air TV?
How would that look like? Well, I'm just going to co-promote. All right?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I've already put one or two deals in place. We've just got to finalise one or two dates for the forthcoming 12 months. But we're gonna co-promote shows, whether it's somebody who's promoting on a regular basis in the London area, somebody in the North East, somebody in Scotland, somebody in Manchester, somebody in Leeds. We will be doing shows with them and having a look at what kind of shows they can put together. Say, there's a show, we're going to do a show in March. What sort of kind of show, what local kid they want to put on in March, who's going to be the top of the bill. And on every show, we're hoping there's going to be a title at stake at the top of the bill, and a decent team support. That's what we're trying to do on a regular basis. But we will co-promote with them. And like I said, there'll be about 3 or 4 partners involved in this, financially involved in this. But that doesn't mean to say we won't work with any other promoter. There'll be 3 or 4 promoters up and down the country who will have a vested interest in the channel and the project. And we're just going to grow it as big and as fast as we can, and give kids another option out there to what's already out there, this monopoly that's been created. And, you know, I think in the next couple of weeks, I mean, the phone's already started ringing anyway, England, but, you know, it's going to be, we want to go in a controlled manner and sensible, because, you know, we're a bit long in the tooth to get too excited about, oh, we could sign in. Well, you know, certain kids, they want to come with us, but we've got to make it financially viable. And we've got to grow this channel. And I'm pretty sure with the help of yourselves and other people who we've met along this 25-year road, who's going to support us with this new venture. And I think this channel will become very, very popular, especially in boxing terms.
In terms of signings, do you believe that signing a big name will bring about more attention to Dennis Hobson Promotions?
What a big name on somebody like Ingram.
You're a funny man, Dennis. I'm talking about a fighter.
Who knows? I mean, I've got Femi Fantola here. He's got a bit between his teeth. He's staying out feeling jersey with me. He's got a new lease of life. I've been taking him on the pad. I think this is what we're going to do. We're going to sit around the table and we're going to decide what sort of names that we want to put on this channel and what we think the benefits will be. So they're all discussions that we're going to have with the partners.
Okay, Dennis, I've got people in the room, so it's kind of ask Dennis. So I think the first question people want to ask is, how much does an average journeyman get paid per fight?
I don't know. Why would I know how much an average journeyman gets paid per fight? I wouldn't know that, Ingram.
Okay, fair enough. It's not me who's asking the question; it's somebody else asking the question. Guys, the next person asked the question. They'd like to see a Dennis Hobson and Russell Hartley special. Is that possible?
I don't like Russell Ingram. I think he's a bit. I don't know what you think. He's a bit boring, don't you think?
He's quite entertaining, personally.
No, he's a class act. I tell you what, him and you.
Yes.
Could be the new Saints and Greavesy of boxing.
Could you imagine that?
Or would it be Richard and Judah? Who do you want to be?
I was actually thinking Smith and Jones, actually.
Smith and Jones, yeah, that'd do.
That'll do. Smith and Jones. Jones and Hartley, what do you think?
No, I think he's so fresh and he's good for boxing and it needs freshening up. We need new characters. I'm all for new characters. Russell's a character. He's well read. You can tell he's in love with the game, like you are.
Yes.
And you know that I'm into positive energy, and what I get from you and Russell is positive energy. And sometimes you might get a bit controversial. Well, it's all good. It's all good. And like, ask me anything. You just ask me about Germany. Well, I don't know. I'm sorry, but I don't know. But I'll find out for you next time if you want me to. But it's all good stuff, and it's all about opinions, not, don't interview him because we don't work with him. Don't interview them. Don't ask them that question. Well, do me a favour. If Frank Warren wanted to come on our show and wanted to be interviewed, or Eddie Hearn wanted to go to any of our shows, I won't stop him being interviewed. No, we don't like him. No, get him on there. Get him on there and get Ingram asking him the questions and Russell. And that'd be fun. There'd be some fireworks then, wouldn't it?
You really want me with a microphone next to Eddie Hearn? Really?
Yeah, why not? I'd get you a couple of whiskeys to get you a bit of fire water in you before you interviewed him.
Do you really think I'd need that, Dennis?
I don't think he'd fancy the job. I don't think he'd fancy the job with you, Ingram. I think you'd be a bit too sharp.
I think, in the sense of, what's your take on boxing media in general in the UK?
I think it's getting better because, you get these, what do you call these, podcasts and stuff like that, what's opening up all over the place. And this social media, I mean, it's got its bad points, but it gives people an opinion. And, you don't get as much propaganda because it can't be as censored because everybody's got access to it. So you can get the truth out there very, very quickly.
Okay.
And if there's something happening, you can get a camera or off your mobile phone and get the truth out there and get interviews out there and start building your own brand. So it's great for that. And there's people popping up all over the place. It gives people like yourself a voice, and you can grow, and hopefully you do because you're very good at what you do.
Thank you, Dennis.
I'm not just saying that because I'm friends with you. I mean, you're good, and I think you've got all the attributes to be a TV pundit and an interviewer, and hopefully it's successful. There's certain people with a lot less ability out there who's probably on fancy contracts.
That's interesting. Adam Scott says, I did an interview with Eddie Hearn. Well, it was the only interview I did with Eddie Hearn, and he's just commented saying bullshit with a smile. Well, that's what Eddie Hearn said to me 30 seconds into our interview. So that basically was the beginning and the end of our interview, I guess. So I don't know. I don't know if Eddie Hearn interview myself is going to happen again anytime soon.
Listen, get me and you, get a mic in my hand, get a mic in your hand, and we'll both interview Eddie Hearns.
Okay, that'll be.
There might be a few low blows going in his direction because he's given me one big low blow. And 4 years ago, I've had a low blow off Eddie. I mean, he's not my favourite person, but I have got some respect for him because when my dad passed in January, he sent me a lovely, lovely message.
Okay.
And I can't thank him enough for that. But, you know, there's certain things that he's conducted his business, which I was quite upset about. But, you know, I wouldn't mind being in a room when we get around the table and having a bit of banter about, you know, how you conduct your business. Because, you know, I started with a wheelbarrow and I lived in a caravan. I don't know if I've ever told Russell my life story. But I don't forget where I've come from to get to where I am now. But, you know, I'll sit in front of anybody around the table and let's have it out. Let's talk verbally and have it out, and, you know, let's question each other and see where we are. It's all good debate, and let's stay real, and it's all for the good of boxing. And it could grow the sport. You know, it's all right earning a few quid, but let's put a bit back in. Let's grow the sport, because the back pages of all the nationals, they're just full of football. I'm a big football fan, but I want to see more about boxing, a sport that we're successful at on the national level, and we don't get the columns in the sports pages that we should.
Okay, I'm gonna close on boxing commentary and boxing predictions. Boxing commentary, particularly on the TV, seems quite biased at times. And what were your thoughts on Adam Smith saying that McGregor had a chance against Floyd because he's Irish and he's experienced the fighting in 8 sides of the octagon and has more angles?
Oh, wow. What is Adam doing? Now, you might as well have asked the lady who served me my latte coffee in Costa's what chance McGregor has got. Because Adam he's a nice fella, comes over very nice, but do me a favour. He's public school education. I don't see there's nothing wrong with that, but he's never had a glove on his life. He's all scripted, and he's kidding to the public. Now, the event up to him getting into the ring were brilliant, and I said that it were like WWE, and it shows, like I said earlier, that if you can create 2 brands, what you can generate financially. But let's get real. It was like the kid had no chance, and he's trying to sell us that kid had got a chance. McGregor were blowing out his backside after 3 rounds, and I mean, my dad were a compulsive gambler. I would have been if I hadn't found boxing and football, and I've always liked to bet. I had a good few quid on Floyd to stop him, and I didn't think that Floyd looked fantastic, to be honest. He looks as though we're starting to age, and I think these fighters out here, welterweight fighters, on that performance would have been Mayweather, but he was streets and streets ahead of somebody who I've been talking to today, who asked me at the hotel next door to where I am. What did you think of that McGregor fight? I said, right, look, you're a accountant, chartered accountant. Let me just tell you this analogy. If my boiler had packed up, it'd be like me saying to you, go and mend my boiler, in central heating is not working. You can't do it because it's not your trade, it's not your game, and that's exactly what happened with McGregor.
Okay, the Super 8. Callum Smith and Chris Eubank Jr. and Jamie Cox and George Groves. Who's your bet? Who's your man for the Super 8 tournament at Super Middle?
Groves. I think Groves beats Eubanks. I think Eubanks beats. I think Eubanks beats him. I think Eubanks beats him. I do.
Eubank beats Groves.
I think so. Yeah. I think so. I think he's. I like Groves. Obviously, he's exciting, but I don't think he's as tough as Eubanks. I think he's. I'm not saying he's chinny because he's a tough. tough lad who can whack. But I think Eubanks overall full package is slightly better than Groves, and I think he's just developed. And like him or loathe him, Eubanks, I think he's a great fighter, and I like watching him.
Okay, let's talk Willie Monroe, Billy Joe Saunders.
Billy Joe, I like Billy Joe, and I almost signed him when he turned pro. And I thought I'd sign him, and Frank didn't nick him, but he just, the package was a bit more attractive at the time. And but I do rate Billy Joe. I think he's
okay.
Also, the move up to Sheffield allows him to fulfil and create the legacy now, even because he's a world champion. But he's not gone on, and hopefully he goes on to achieve greatness.
Canelo, Gennady Golovkin.
I'm hoping you will get into that. That's a proper fight.
Right.
That's a proper fight. I've looked at different. Sometimes I thought Canelo, sometimes I thought GGG, and I've gone backwards and forwards. And I'll stick my neck out and say GGG because I think he's just slightly because a good big one will always be a good little one. I'm not saying he's a massive difference, but he's slightly a nationally bigger man than Canelo. But I think it's an absolute fantastic fight and a totally different planet to what we've been talking about with such as McGregor and Mayweather. That was just died. This is proper tradesmen at the top of the tree going for it. Fantastic.
See, I've looked at the fight differently. I've looked at Canelo's body work because people say Gennady's got a great chin, but they say when somebody's got a great chin, go to the body. And there's not many people in the world of boxing today that go to the body as good as Canelo does. The way he doubled over Liam Smith and the right hand he knocked out at Amir with, he does put his shots together very nicely. And Gennady has been known to get hit.
I'm not going to disagree with you. And look at GGG when he's hit fires to the body. I mean, he's very, very heavy-handed. So, they both are capable of taking one another out because they're both capable of, putting heavy shots together. So, you can look at it different ways, and I'm not going to disagree with you. So if you want any arguments about it, you're going to struggle with me here because I see it both ways. But you asked me to pick one, I'm going to say GGG because he's slightly bigger, he might just be able to impose himself strength-wise as the fight goes on. But I won't be surprised if he gets, if the other happens. So it's just a proper fight, a fantastic fight.
Absolutely.
They don't come along very often. Two guys who are still at the top of the tree, still probably at the peak, who's going for it. And it's fantastic, and it's fantastic for boxing.
What about the big super fight that's coming up in Cardiff? Kubrat Pulev versus Anthony Joshua.
What do you want me to say?
You tell me. I'm asking you.
You want a prediction?
Yeah.
It'll be a sellout and a rip-off to the public because it's one-sided, and Joshua wins that by a straight mile. For me, it's a hand-picked opponent, and I'd be loath to buy it.
Yeah. Okay. Dennis, is there anything else you'd like to say before we close off?
Yeah, Sarah just fixed me a lovely glass of red wine. I don't know what make it is, but it's we'll make a note of it. It's a nice one. I'm chilling out. I'm having a red wine with it, and I've even got Russell on it. And Femi, he's back in training tomorrow. I'm going to take him on the pads. We're putting a great show together in November in Jersey, November the 24th. Brad Watson from Guernsey is going to fight Lua Nasser for the English title.
Brilliant.
I'm going to make an announcement for a local kid, Jersey kid called Danny Kennedy. Danny Kennedy, the welterweight. I'm going to put him in, I think, with a big name. It's a risk fight, but they're both going to be fighting for titles. It's going to be a smashing show. It's going to make history in Jersey. So I like making a bit of history. It's going to be live on Free Sport, and this is what we intend to do. And take this Free Sport boxing in and around the Isles, up and down the spine of the UK, and put some smashing creative fights together. Stay with us, keep being a drum for us, and you're just a voice at the moment, but your face is going to get famous, I think, on this street sport.
Oh, I love you, Dennis. Now, by the way, just to finish, what channel? How do people watch it on the Freeview? Because people want to know what channel it's on.
Freeview is channel 95, so that needs ingraining on people's mind, etching on people's mind, and on the Sky platform it's 424. So people, no matter where they are going to get access to this free sport. I think it's a great thing they're doing, and hopefully in years to come, they're going to think, hopefully they're going to say what a great job we've done, and they're going to start throwing stacks of money at transfer window in January or August, and somebody big like the BBC comes in for us and looks at our brand, what we've created on free sport, and wanting to nick us away. We want to stay loyal and grow this channel for the next 10 years.
Dennis Hobson, we look forward to continue working with you. It's been a pleasure having you on the channel, and we look forward to speaking to you again very, very soon.
I look forward to that, Ingram. As always, you're one of the best interviewers I've worked with over the last 25 years, to be honest, and I think you've got a great career in front of you as well. So that's not just a bit of smoke blowing. I think we need to get you on that free sport, and we need to get you interviewing get interaction with some of the audience. I think that's what we're going to look at, and that's what I want to talk to you about. See if you fancy getting involved with that.
Sounds interesting. Sounds interesting.
If we can create a bit of a sideshow with you two and involving interaction with the audience there and getting their opinions, because without an audience, you've got nothing. Without an audience, we can't grow any sport. So we need to interact with them a lot more, I think.
Dennis Hobson, once again, thank you so much for talking to BWTM Sports.
You're more than welcome. It's always a pleasure, pal.
Thank you, champ. All the best. Bye-bye.
Same to you. Bye, mate.
Bye. So there you have it. Dennis Hobson has made that massive announcement. They're back. Dennis Hobson Promotions are now live on Freeview TV. Sheedy versus Cameron is officially on Free Sports TV. So we're really happy to be able to break the news to you and let you all know, boxing fans around the world. Let's hear what people are saying. War Ingram. Ingram on the box. Massive news for Ingram. He is now the big time when Hobson pulls this off. Well, Ingram doing big things. Virgin Media, you can't get the channel. You can't on Virgin Media. You can get the channel. I believe it is on Virgin Media. It is on Virgin Media as well. So that's it. Does anybody have any comments before I shut this off? Tonight, Sky 424. I'll check the details for you again. I'll get the details for you for sure. I've got the details on my Twitter page. So we'll just quickly look on the Twitter page to confirm that information for you. Let's get it for you, Dennis Hobson. Right, now, it is 12 shows a year, exclusive deal, channel 95 on Freeview, Sky channel 424, and BT Sports and Virgin 95, channel 95. Ingram, what do you think of Parker moaning about a British referee? To be honest, and I'm just down the line on it, Andy Ruiz could complain and say, hey, you were in New Zealand when we fought, and I didn't think the judging was, I thought the judging was biased. Andy Ruiz should be world champion. I thought Andy Ruiz won the fight. So it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is. So, yeah, don't forget to check out the channel. Check out what Liam Cameron's had to say. Check out what Sam Sheedy's had to say. Check out some of the fighters that are on Dennis Hobson Promotions. You've got all those fighters on the channel. Billy Joe needs to watch himself. Monroe is a dangerous fighter. He needs to be very careful, Billy Joe Saunders. So I think he has to be careful. This is the best opponent Billy Joe Saunders has fought in his career, bar none. Monroe is the best fighter. I know you might laugh at that, but Monroe is the best fighter on paper he's fought. Monroe has actually fought on paper better fighters than Billy Joe Saunders. And the guy that knocked Monroe down and stopped Monroe, if he beats Canelo, will go down as a very good fighter. So I don't think people should be knocking Monroe that quickly. I really do think people need to be. I think Billy Joe Saunders needs to be very careful because he's not Gennady Golovkin. He don't punch nowhere near as hard as Gennady Golovkin. And based on Saunders' last fight, it didn't look good. So we know that Saunders does tire down the stretch. So they can say what they want about new diets and fitness and all the rest of it. I love Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, he's a great guy, but I was a bit uncomfortable with his behavior, shouting and screaming and posing, all this sort of stuff. I don't know if he's trying to get inside of Monroe's head, or he really knows he's up for a fight. He knows at the end of the day, if he flunks this fight with Monroe, or he looks bad with Monroe, who the hell wants to fight Billy Joe Saunders after that? Mind you, it might encourage Gennady Golovkin or Canelo to fight him. But you know, he's got to prove to me, Saunders, that he's not going to fade after 6 rounds. And if after 6 rounds it's nip and tuck, it's the last 6 will be very interesting. So, right, will you do commentary for Saunders? I'm going to try and do commentary for all fights. I'm going to try and do the commentary for Smith, Eklund. I'm going to try and do the Gennady Golovkin fight, and I'm also going to try and do the Golovkin Canelo. So it's going to be an all-nighter. So I'll have my pizza and chips and a drink and everything. So we're going to have a whole night of boxing. It's going to be an extravaganza on BWTM Sports. And I hope you can join me when I do it. Okay, I am going to get some rest. I need to sleep because Saturday's going to be a big night. Oh, don't forget Friday night on Facebook, I believe, Niall Kennedy, the heavyweight that we've done lots of Irish heavyweight, fighting for a title on Lou DiBella's show. The whole of that show, Fight Night, is going to be live on Facebook. So check it out, Fight Night. It's going to be live on Facebook Friday night. So I'm going to go and look at Sutherland and see what he can do, and then probably do a prediction video. Probably tomorrow night I'll do a prediction video. And wait for it. 2 guys. One I know we've got confirmed already. Rob Brandt, we'll be talking to him. The guy that's in the Super 8 tournament, we'll be talking to Rob Brandt. And on top of that, we'll be talking to Amir Mansour. He'll be coming and making his debut on BWT. And check this out. Check this out. Evander, the real deal Holyfield, being on BWTM Sports, as now we're going to be into work with, just doing some interviewing their fighters. 41 fighters in the stable of the real deals boxing stable, some promotional deals. So we'll be talking to all of those guys: Rob Brandt, Evander Holyfield, Amir Mansour, and all the and we're going to try and go for all 41 fighters that are part of the real deal. So we're going to have fighters coming in and out. And of course, we've still got the build up to Stavern versus Brazil. We've got Liam Cameron's training workouts. We've got some Stavern stuff as well. Man, we've got a whole heap of stuff going on. So a lot of stuff, really excited. So just to repeat, James Hobson has got a deal, free view deal. So Free Sports, October the 13th, Friday the 13th. It's going to be unlucky for somebody, but that's going to be live and exclusive on Freeview Sports. So you'll get to watch that. Yeah, get Tyrone Nurse. I've been wanting to get Tyrone Nurse for ages, so please get him on the show. We'd appreciate that. I'm very happy for Dennis Hobson and this TV deal. I wasn't surprised. I knew Dennis Hobson would eventually get back into the swing of things, so I'm very excited to know that. Well done to young Mr. Jones on his hard work providing us with these videos. Yep, there's plenty more to come for sure. Right, I think so. I said Evander Holyfield, Amir Mansour, Rob Brandt, and 41 of the Team Holyfield's team as well. Wilder, Crawford, Stavern. So, the fights from all sorts of divisions. So we have got this. The channel is stacked with stuff to do. Stacked, absolutely stacked. So we're looking forward to having these people on the show. So as soon as, make sure you subscribe to the channel and make sure you hit the bell, because I can't always tell you that I'm going to say, make sure that you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the bell, so that when we're going to do a live show, you get automatically, it comes to your inbox and you know when the live shows are. Right. I need to get some rest. Before I do that, one more thing I've got to say. Man, you know I want the Samantha Kamuko interview. You know I want that. She's been ducking me at the moment. Yeah, Abel will be back on. When will Uncle James be back? You know Uncle James. You know Uncle James was with Nita Denier. He was with Nadita Denier 2 days ago. So, yeah. Cecilia Breakers, yes, absolutely. Love to get in with Cecilia Breakers. We just got Jelena. We've got Jelena. We've got Ava Knight on the phone here. We've got Heather Hardy on the phone as well. We'll be talking to Heather Hardy as well. So, and we've got another interview coming up as well. We'll be talking to, from Sheffield. I'm looking forward to this interview because we don't really hear about these people, but people who deal with injuries in sport boxing. We'll be talking to LB Sports Therapy. So we'll be talking to LB Sports Therapy as well in Sheffield to talk about injuries. That's what it's about. Keep it fresh, get new people on the channel. I said, you know what? If we can't go to them, we're going to bring them to BWTM. All right? So stay locked in, stay locked on, stay loyal, and we'll be bringing you more exclusives. This is Ingram Jones, BWTM. Oh, and one more final exclusive. This is for BWTM Gaming and those people who are part of the BWTM Gaming Network. We have just partnered with Voltra, which is one of the biggest gaming networks in the world. So we've just partnered with them, and I think, see how that goes. We're probably going to partner up the sports channel as well. So some really exciting times. And plus with the station, we're going to be having the TV station coming back. We've got lots of stuff happening at the moment. So hard work, no, smart work and dedication. Thank you again to Dennis Hobson tonight for being a fantastic guest. Thank you to you who took your time to listen to the channel. Spread the word, spread the news. Dennis Hobson Promotions are back and they are on Freeview. This is BWTN Sports and Ingram Jones, and I'm out. Take care.